All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into a show here on Sunday. Coming in here about 10 after 7. Internet decided to crash about 6:45. I was going to come on at 6, but been thinking about going on at 7 now, getting a little later in the summer, and it don't get dark till like 8 o'clock or so. So we may go back to 6, like maybe when time goes back closer, like when season starts or something like that. So welcome into the show, guys. Come on in, take your shoes off, and hang out a while. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. Where do you want to start at? ACC spring media. We're going to talk about Coach DeBoer and what he had to say. And also we're going to talk about Coach Golish, some comments he had. We also got some recruit news coming in for this weekend as big guys coming in for the weekend. And it should be a really big weekend. And I can't get this to go on there, so I'm going to have to hit this. I always have to do this when I start the show. All right, we'll get it started out right here. All right. Okay. So, introduction. Do you think, let me write this down. I like to write these questions down so I can come back to them. Say it, just topic numero 1. Iron Bowl, topic number 1. What do you guys think about the Iron Bowl coming up this season? Alabama Auburn fans, y'all all give me some shout outs in the comment section. You Roll Tide, you War Eagle. Where do you stand at? As of lately, it's just been all Alabama. Does Auburn, Coach Golish, going to bring something new, something a little exotic to the Plains? I kind of felt like Auburn would have won last year. I just did. I picked Auburn to beat Bama last year. So that's what we're going to hit the comment section with right here. Go ahead and hit thumbs up while you're coming by on the page. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. Now, the annual SEC spring meetings highlighted massive culture shift in the state of from Alabama, Georgia. Kirby Smart has some very interesting comments about scheduling. Sark had some interesting comments about scheduling, and we can talk about that. Tell me what you think about this new 24-team playoff that's going to come. I'd like to hear your thoughts about that. Like it, hate it, stupid, bad, it's too much. Let's have 64. Where do you stand at on that? So comment about that too. So with SEC adopting a grueling 9-game conference schedule and debating further college football playoff expansions, both coaches, DeBoer and Golish, use their media platforms to define how they plan to navigate this shifting college landscape. While DeBoer, coming on third year, managed the expectations of championship caliber roster, while Golish confidently introduces his be who you say you are culture to establish a new identity at the Plains of Auburn. So let's hit a few talking points here for Coach DeBoer and spring media days and highlights of their little sit-downs that they had with them. And we'll talk about Kirby Smart, another player, another one over 100 miles an hour. Golly, man. I think it's 43 now. 43 Georgia football players have been arrested for reckless driving of speeds over 100. Talk about that. We might look at some schedules or something if we get way down in the weeds with some of this other stuff from Texas, maybe some identities of who we may like for the SEC this year. We talked about it a little bit last time. We like A&M. South Carolina's not going to be terrible. Florida, they're going to be on the come up. Get in the comments over there. Tell me who your favorite team is and why you like your team to win more than 6 or 7 games this year. I'm saying my dark horse could be Arkansas. So navigating through 9-game SEC schedule, Coach DeBoer had voiced, along with other coaches at SEC, real concern about them moving to a stricter 9-game conference schedule, pointing out that scheduling really constrains its place in finding a standard or balanced out of the conference matchups, because not only do they have to play 9 conference games, guys, but they're also going to have to play a power team from another division. Bama will be welcoming Florida State up this year. That'll be their other. So that's 10 games. So you're going to have at least 6 ranked games, depending on, how further you get down the year. Kentucky, they play them pretty early. I don't think they're going to be preseason top 25, so that'll take one away. So you see what I'm saying? And that's 10. You'd like to have a week off. That's 11. And then you get one, Division 2 or 3 school, a AFCS school, and homecoming game to help that school get a check so they can pay their band and get new equipment or fix their field or whatever. That's what those things are good for. That's what I hate about losing too many of those games. I mean, you don't want to play a fluffy schedule like Notre Dame or Indiana, where they play like 1 or 2 ranked teams all year. But their fluff is like Rutgers, I mean, then they can't help that their, conference is bad. So balancing out the conference matchups is a real concern for DeBoer and Golish as they both talk about concerns about this 9-conference schedule now. Playoff expansion stance, we know 24 is probably going to come, and it's very disheartening to me. I'm just not crazy about it, guys. I'm just not. Regarding that hot button topic and expanding of the college football field from 16 to 24, DeBoer remained focused entirely on the execution of the team, and he emphasized his goal is to simply win enough games so that his team can have postseason fate has to rest in the selection committee's hands. So don't give anybody no doubt of who to pick. Just go win all your games and you're in. So handling Auburn's early rivalry psychologically tactics, DeBoer think he took a highly balanced approach when asked about Auburn's blasting Alabama's traditional anthem about Dixieland Delight during their spring practices. Rather than trading barbs, being a classy guy that DeBoer is, he just applauded the passion for the rivalry and its intense and exactly what makes college football great. He didn't have to stoop down and try to hit low where they hit from because they got nothing. Programs after this past year, it's one, you start putting up foam numbers of years you didn't even win national champ. I mean, not even played for national championships. You're claiming those years because you're on probation. You've got an undefeated season, but you're on probation. When those things are going on and you're winning 5 or 6 games a year, program's in a bad spot. So managing the transfer portal and NIL, the constraints of that, Alabama has not got a big class, this time as, some people pointed out, well, they don't have many players. Well, this 26 class is probably the best class in the nation. They had the most highest average of players. USC was number 1 because they just had more players in general. So emphasizing on the critical importance of trusted support staff to keep the football program running effectively. So, this weekend, Mushawn Sales was at Alabama, number 1 receiver in the state. He's been to, I think, Michigan and Ohio State. And we also had a running back come in this weekend, a 3-star guy who Bama got away from LSU, Ohio State, and Michigan. They had also offered him. And there's a few pieces they want to add. The cornerback I know is a guy is going to be on campus too, the Step kid, 5-star corner. And the guy we just mentioned, Nigel Newkirk, he did commit while there to shut down his visits to Ohio State, like I said, Michigan, and LSU. The Gales kid, wide receiver, real good-looking kid. I saw a little bit of stuff on him, another 4-star. 2 other 4-stars, star edge guy, Antoine Jackson, guy you could talk about and make a lot of noise about. But there's also a Simmons kid who's already been committed and actively recruiting other guys on campus, linebacker, this Kenneth Simon. Avery, which is called A.J. Paly, he's another defensive 3-star guy here, defensive lineman, also active on helping commit stuff. Next steps for them on the way, check out at Touchdown Alabama Magazine to see all more recruiting stuff, and that's usually where I find out a lot of stuff. And I know Auburn had a guy. They did have a guy come in this weekend, trying to get a guy that's at A&M right now following highly successful visit. He's a 5-star corner, the Dobson kid. They're going to have some guys come in next week. Auburn has their last little push here. Isaac McNeil, 4-star linebacker, looking to get him. He'll be there in a second. Tay Walden Jr., top guy from 24/7 Sports, the athlete. Auburn's pitching for him on a unique plan to play both wide receiver and corner. This is Tay Walden Jr. Also, the Pace kid, he's an edge rusher guy. He's from Maryland. Coach Durkin coached up that way, high school stuff, and a native, heavily targeted to replace NFL draft departures for the guys. So Hall, also another wide receiver, in-state standout kid that plays down at Prattville. Could be a big part of the offense for Target that will be on campus also. And then Chicken. He's a 4-star edge rusher guy. He's bounced back and forth. He's talked to Bama, Alabama. He's made some other visits and stuff. They're going to try to get him in the next few weeks. Also on June the 10th, lastly, Jackson kid, he's a edge rusher. He'll be announcing his final commitment on June the 10th. Now, current commits on site, 3-star offense tackle Race Brown, and then Jalen Moore, another 3-star guy, an offensive interior guy. But find out all stuff at Auburn Tigers on 3 Visit Hub. You can go on there and find out more stuff about them. So we'll go back over here. Now, Coach Golis focusing on a year one identity over postseason hype. When grilled about potential 2014 playoff expansion, Golis delivered a blunt reality check stating that nobody in that room cares what I think. And that playoff is the last thing on my mind. I mean, they can't even make a bowl. They ain't make bowl games in years. He's not thinking about even trying to make the playoff. He's better just focus on trying to beat Baylor week 1 in Atlanta. His singular priority remains changing a culture that has suffered 5 consecutive losing seasons, and over the past decade has only had 1 successful winning season of winning over 9 games once. So declaring the biggest summer in Auburn history. Listen to this. After bringing in 60 new players, guys, via the portal at high school recruiting, he stressed that establishing peer-to-peer locker room trust is essential to quiet any on-field turnaround. So you want to keep what you have. Auburn cannot lose. You can't do this every year. You can't, lose, 50 guys and then you have a few guys to declare and then bring in 60 guys next year. It's not, it won't work. It's not going to work that way. Now, defensive staff-wise, Gullish used his platform to praise his secondary unit and the veteran presence of the new hires that they had, Coach Van Dyke. Also, the safeties coach, Tim Banks. He highlighted bringing in the staff, the members who know his structure, his intent will speed up the defensive development that he hopes, because Auburn's going to be very, very open and very poor aged in the secondary. I said this on last show a couple of weeks ago. They're going to have to score 20 or 30 before half because they have no depth. No depth here for a deep backfield. Their defensive line, they've lost some guys, but they're still going to have Atkins and some guys. They try to keep a little bit that core they had last year. Man, they lost 40 guys in the portal. So they're trying to flip this narrative in recruiting and targeting highlights Auburn as a upper echelon of blue blood brands, what Gullish wants to call it. Explain that his frequent media appearances are calculated strategies to put his face in front of top talent. His aggressive strategy is already yielding massive dividends, underscored by recently flipping prize prospects directly from Alabama. So now Kirby, talk about some Kirby Smart stuff here. So thank y'all for coming by the page. Welcome into another show here, Elite College Football Talking here. Locker Room Sports Talk. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, let you know when we go live. After the 4th of July, come to see us on live every Sunday night about 7 o'clock. Me and the Diamond Dean will be on, and he'll be on as much as he can. So Kirby has just pretty much said that him and Sark both, they're kind of the OGs now, if you think about it, in the SEC. I mean, just think all the guys that are left and coaching around, the SEC. Kentucky's got a new coach. Florida got a new coach. Arkansas, Mississippi State's got what? Third and fourth year guys. The board's been there a little bit. Auburn Gullish is new. Heupel's been at Tennessee a little while. Vandy, he's been there a couple of years, but Kirby's kind of the older guy out there now, him and Sark. And they're probably the most likely guys picked to play for the SEC this year. And their voices on concerns of, is this 2014 thing going to play an effect of watering down the season? Will it cause some players to not play? Feeling like if it's a 2014 playoff, they don't have to make such a hard push to try to do like they used to, and you had to be 1 or 2. To be in the BCS to play number 1, play number 2. It's not that way anymore. So with them playing 9 conference games, they're afraid that it's going to hurt the whole brand, and it's going to hurt the whole identity. And I guess I could agree somewhat. I mean, who wouldn't think that college football could take a knock in the whole ideology that you don't have to try so hard. Well, what if we lose a game? Well, I mean, we'll still be ranked in the top 20 if we lose 2 games. Will coaches start holding guys in games? I don't know. I'm asking questions. Hit the comment section over there. Tell me what you think. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Facebook people, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it. So let's go here and look at some more news. I'm going to talk about Sanky and what he had to say about all this mess. Now here's the deal. In them being confident of, it's always about money. I mean, is it not always about money? Sanky, with playing more games than a team can have this, this identity to where ESPN, all that type of stuff, they can really make a big drive at selling ads, TV networks, that type of stuff. So, I mean, but at what cost? What are we going to lose here? What are we going to lose in the identity of college football in general? How's it all going to play out? Is there going to be enthusiasm from the fans as much if we're going to have this 2014 playoff? I don't know. Or, is it ticket sales, those type things? How's that kind of stuff going to, is that just going to go up in flames too, to try to understand to go to a football game? You're going to pay $500 to go to, it's just expensive, man. Super, super expensive. So I'm just curious of where this is all going to kind of lay out. So Kirby is in the mindset of Kirby Smart's historically favored adding a 9th conference game, but, structurally the realities of a newly formatted college football playoff committee has certainly shifted his perspective. The evaluations of concerns of the system, Smart directly criticized the current selection system rather than the committee members themselves. It just lacks any confidence and a 13-member panel's ability to truly recognize and heavily reward a strict strength of schedule over raw win-loss record. So the one-loss penalty, Kirby Smart's voiced the deep frustration that an SEC team playing in grueling 9-game conference slate could easily be penalized and left out of postseason field in favor of a team from an easier conference that has one fewer losses on their record. So moving away from home and home starts, Coach Smart had laminated that the pressures of this new 9 conferences forcing programs to cancel highly anticipated non-conference games. As we saw, Alabama and Ohio State almost dumped theirs. I think they've recounseled and they're going to make it happen anyway. It's just not worth it. I mean, for either team. I mean, the team that loses, it'll be better for Ohio State because they don't seem to care. You know, if that's their only loss, because they'll only play like one other ranked team that year. Well, but you know, they've wanted to follow because Sanky bent the knee to Petiti because Petiti demanded, do it, Greg. Kiss my Converse, Sanky. And he did. We played 9 conference games. But, Tony, your Big Ten, well, I went through this last year. I've done it over and I've done it over and over and over and over again. Their strength of schedule at the end of the year, this is what Kirby's talking about. There's a constant fear of taking early loss and driving teams into defensive posture. Refraining from the brutal physical toll of high-stakes conference games, Kirby also said, recollecting how it was last year when they played Alabama, that he had, I think, 4 guys out, and Bama had 7. So the cumulative toll, he noted that adding yet another mandatory game, SEC game on to it already taxing schedule of 8, and then you're going to play another one, raises massive internal concerns about the league's coaches regarding long-term student-athlete health and depth management. So here's what Sanky had to say. If you look at the entirety of our league, we are by far the most competitive, strongest football league by far. Now, I know he believes that. Then why would you add another ranked game? It's not going to be for everybody because not all 16 are ranked. But how many SEC teams do you think is going to be ranked in the top 25? Is there any guess? Is there anybody that's got an early look? I hadn't seen any. I hadn't. But here's a consensus look at the top tier projected rankings based on post-spring updates. This is overlook early features of heavily in the Southeastern Conference. So we're going to go back to what Greg was saying, that he knows it's a strong conference. So why have but you're going to lose games when it's close and competitive like that. So why have they surpassed us? It's an oddball. It's bounced a couple of times the wrong way. Well, then stop adding to the big, huge ball of crap that we already have as a program that's hard enough already. We're already rolling a turd uphill, and every time you slip, a chunk of it falls off right on your face, Greg. Stop bending your knee and kissing the ring of Petiti. It's apples and pineapples. It's different. Might as well be talking about a hamburger compared to a steak. They're both meat. Yep, both got football teams, but it's not the same. So now, this is just a guess of a top 25, and we'll kind of run through this to give an idea. Starting at the bottom at 25, Tennessee. All right, going all the way up here through 25 through 15. We'll hit these 10. This is going to give you an idea of how many SEC teams are in the top 25. SEC teams in the 26 top 25. We got Texas, Florida, South Carolina, Iowa, Houston, Arizona, Missouri, Louisville 18, 17 Washington, SMU 16, USC at 15. So there's 4 in the 25 through 15. Now 14 on up here to like 8 or so. Got Penn State, Michigan, LSU. There's 5 of the top 25. Texas Tech at 10, BYU 9, Notre Dame 8, Alabama 7, Ole Miss 6, Oregon 5, Texas A&M 4, Georgia 3, Texas 2, Ohio State 1. There's 10 SEC teams mixed with Big 12 and some Big 10 teams. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, is this checking in with anybody? I mean, really, look. Ole Miss could lead an explosive offense. They may remain a dangerous college football threat. Alabama is consistently ranked in the top 10. They're a force to be reckoned with every year. Notre Dame going to bring a lot of guys back. We'll talk about them as we get on into through late in the midsummer and stuff here, in the beginning of summer. For us as the players to get it through spring, there are core playoff or bust expectations for Notre Dame. BYU's coming off of back-to-back 11-win seasons led by QB Bear Brockemeyer. Texas Tech, they got a lot of crap going on. Expect to be a dominant team and a fixture in the new look to the Big Ten. Oklahoma, always a top-tier roster with national appeal. LSU, fresh, massive transfer portal additions under their new head coach, Kiffin. Michigan's got a new coach, rebuilding, recruiting elite level to climb back up to the top. Penn State, kind of a solid team. They're a solid top 15 team. New coach there. S. Franklin is at VT. Yep, Franklin's at VT. So Sanky goes on to say here, we'll roll out of this and go to something else. Big Ten has won 3 straight national titles for the second time since AP began in 36, 40-42. Meanwhile, SEC has not made a national championship game in 3 seasons. The conference longest streak since 1999 to 2002, according to ESPN research. There have been at least one SEC team in 16 or 17 national championship games from 06 to 22. 2014 was the exception. He finishes up here by saying, I can assure you that everyone in this league is trying to figure out how to come up with on top end of all this for it to be the future. But I think from the big picture, Sanky goes on to say that the depth of this league stands alone. In fact, we saw metrics out of college football playoff presentation where there's no doubt that we are the strongest league. Now there's some segments of other teams and leagues that are towards where we are, but not nearly the entirety of the conference as a whole in the SEC. It's a pretty special place. Now, I don't know why you add another game. It's just, it's got to be for TV rights. It just has to be. It has to be. Big 12 coaches unanimously back a preference for 2014 playoff. Yeah, because then that's the only way they're going to get any more teams in, because their teams are crap. Most of their teams are going to be outside the top 18. So they're not going to have many ranked teams at all. The Big 12 coaches unanimously agreed on Thursday. Now, this was just done 2 days ago. They had a meeting Friday. The Big 12 coach unanimously agreed Thursday on their preference for 2014 college football playoff scenario in which the conference would have had 5 playoff teams last season? 5. Instead of only one league championship, Texas Tech, like it did in the current 12-team playoff format. The 16 coaches were informally polled about doubling the size of the playoff field. During one of their seasons and their sessions here for the Big 12 spring meetings, all of them raised their hand. They should ask coaches for more opinions on what's best for college football, said Coach Rich Rod at West Virginia's new coach, straight out of JSU. We voted, and it's unanimous. Who knows where that goes? They should ask coaches for their opinions. Scott Drapier, the league's chief competition officer, said that the coaches took part in an hour-plus presentation by the staff of the College Football Playoff Committee. If their 2014 playoff, they said, started last year, we would have had 5 teams in there, Draper said. We were been the second-ranked conference straight and the strength of conference based on us for 2 years straight in their metrics for last year. So I'm confident that we will be well represented in the 2014 playoff because we got trash and we can barely make teams the top 25, and that's the only way we can do it is have a 2014 playoff like some goddamn basketball or something. It's round robin. It sucks. What did we just do right here? All right. We're going to hit the field right here. Florida at 24 would play, let's see, what it says, 1 through 4 is bye. Okay. So Florida would play Oregon. Okay. Good luck there. South Carolina would play Ole Miss. That's already going to probably may happen. Iowa would play Alabama. Notre Dame would play Houston. Arizona State would play BYU. Texas Tech would play Missouri, so on and so forth. You can go look up this preseason AI pick, sort of just off of base conclusions. So Big 12 votes unanimous. More news breaking here on Locker Room Sports. Thank you again for coming by and hanging out with me here on a rainy, stormy Sunday up here in the way north part of Alabama. So let's talk about LSU AD. Verge Asbury stresses SEC unity in meeting that he has with the coaches. He says that it's not about the other places you were at before, the other schools in this conference. He said, in the SEC, we have to be all one. Every other organization, NASCAR, NFL, NBA, they're one. We fight each other on the field, and Saturday nights, basketball games, baseball weekends, track and field, so on and so forth. After that, this is one. When you start breaking it up and doing our own thing, that hurts our conference. SEC Commissioner Greg Sanky, speaking to the reporters for 4th straight day at conclusions of the league spring meetings that we're talking about today, declared to say that if any fines or sanctions are coming to Kiffin or Texas or Coach Sarkisian, and we'll talk about that, we'll make a note about that, that all you have to do is take the basket weaving. Remember these comments? Because that's all he could, you just go to Texas and take those classes, and you can go get a degree at Ole Miss and whatever, and table tennis. He conducted this week that was a poor choice of words, said Kiffin. In a 4-hour interview with Vanity Fair, Kiffin went on to say a lot of other things. Hey, the coach, we really like you, but my grandparents aren't letting me move to Oxford. Kiffin told the magazine, that doesn't come up when you say Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Parents were sitting here on the weekend saying the campus, talking about the diversity. We talked about that. And he run all that stuff back, that they were like they're racist and rebel flag and all this crap at Ole Miss, they're so racist there. But they wasn't racist when he was there coaching, or did he lie the whole time and covered it all up? It's a big conspiracy, and they only become racist after Lane left. We've talked about that. It's old news. So in the universe where there's a pretty defined pool of media rights, he goes on to say, and they're driven by eyeballs, leadership, and consumption. We do that very well and want to continue. We also want the flexibility to decide where our games are played and who decides that. So the AD coming up with some fluffy butt and kind of getting a little aggravated, that kind of stuff. Now let's see, the Big 12's first Power 4 conference in full arrangement. Let's see. Here we talked about this yesterday. Out of Frisco, Texas, the Big 12 is becoming the first power conference to have each of its members sign the petitions agreements with College Football Sports Commission agency formed last year to police name, image, and likeness payments. Here we go. This is a good topic. The Big 12 wants rules and enforcement, and we want to be a leader in that area, Commissioner Brett York-Mark said Friday after the league wrapped up 4 days of annual meetings. He goes on to say, I think signing the petition agreement certainly is indicative of that. The agreement requires schools to waive their right to file lawsuits against the enforcement agency, pay attention here, and gives its wide latitude to sanction programs for violating rules that outline how players can be paid after a house settlement last year. But all 68 Power 4 schools must sign the 11-page document for it to become valid. All schools have initially been asked to review and sign the document. I can't speak what York-Mark says for the other conferences. I mean, obviously, they all say they want rules and enforcements, but they haven't signed the petition yet. Well, I'll tell you what there, smart aleck. Here's what the Big Ten's doing. Now, this guy's saying this, okay? And Richard Letton, president of Kansas State, said the Big 12 is on board in direction and composed the president challenge from the league's 16 schools unanimously agreed to sign the document. But Petiti in the Big Ten, trying to think the easiest way to, if you hadn't kept up with it in this summer, most of you hadn't kept up with it, and that's fine. That's why you're here, Locker Room Sports, to hear about what's going on, because you're just going to work and enjoying your summer days and that kind of stuff. Texas done it too. Now we got to throw their name in the ring. And we think LSU, and I've heard A&M is in on this. NIL Go is a between. There's only a certain amount of money that this NILs can go through the NIL Go to go to the programs. There's allotted amounts. It can't be more than this and this many days, X, Y, Z. The Big Ten is trying to say that they want to make an injunction to where it'll be more, so they can move more money through NIL Go. So that way they can be legal about and not do it behind closed doors and cheating and passing bags and paying off, buying houses for parents and buying cars, which is not new. It's been going on for 60, 70 years. But it's so blatant. They're just doing it right out in the wide open now. This is what Petiti has asked, to have some kind of fixture in this, between the stopping point of the NIL Go to go through it, to go to, from the NIL to go to the players. Because remember, when all this started, we talked about this. Me and Burge broke it down 2 years ago. That this is not supposed to have anything to do with colleges. This is supposed to be about the player's name, his appearance of who he is, to be put on an advertisement, a commercial, a shirt, a video game, to be paid for that likeness, NIL, or using his name. But here's what's funny about that. Somehow the colleges are all paying these kids and buying players through boosters and this fundraising stuff that the schools have now. It's so bad, guys. You just have to talk to people that I talk to that are recruiting players and helping players be recruited. We had Dexter on here. Go back and find that show. A lot of great information you don't know about recruiting inside. Dexter Talbert, find him over on Twitter at Dex Preps. It's off camera. I can't tell you. It's a dirty game. They're just buying players. And it's supposed to be, okay, I always use this one because it's a real good analogy. Bryce Young, Alabama quarterback, Heisman winner, whatever, he did the Dr. Pepper commercial, right? He does this Dr. Pepper commercial, and he had on a Dr. Pepper jersey. Remember that? There was no Alabama stuff. He didn't wear any Alabama stuff. There was none of that, period. So Dr. Pepper will pay him. Because Dr. Pepper is its own brand. They let Coke and Pepsi bottle their stuff, in case anybody didn't know that. That's why the bottles look different. Some are the shorter, pudgy ones. Some of them the taller with the slender tops. Because Dr. Pepper lets Coke and Pepsi bottle their stuff. Dr. Pepper is Dr. Pepper. But that had nothing to do with Alabama. So the Big Ten and Petiti is trying to weasel their way around this to where, the set amount can only be, $5,000. Not even $5,000 won't even buy you a freaking guard, probably, or a tackle at a big school. It just won't. It's just ridiculous at where we're at right now. So that's the big money and the big cheats. It's estimated by some people that we'll talk about Sorsby here, and then we'll get off. It's estimated by some people that Texas, Sark in this group, and Texas A&M, LSU, those three teams in the SEC are going to have close 75 to $85 million. Now, the whole argument to all this was, this NIL. It's what I heard from a lot of fans, and I told them, I said, that's not. I don't know if they're just blind or stupid. This is not going to fix this like you think it is. Well, it's going to even things up. By God, Saban won't be able to hold all the players, and no, but now all the rich schools are just going to hoard all the players. So these fans that are talking smack, you're from a poor school. You don't have money to buy these players like Texas does. Texas A&M has got mad money. I mean, just insanely mad amounts of money. So now, because of the portal of the kids moving around, kids have always got paid. We know that. But now we're in this place to where they're just doing it out of it's just so nonchalant. I like Jeremy Pruitt. Know his family up here on the mountain at Plainview. Good people. They run this guy off at Tennessee for exactly what they're doing at Ohio State and Texas. Michigan done it. Portnoy, he told live on TV that he would pay that quarterback to come. He said he would, whatever it is, however much it was, $40, $50 million. And I ain't seen that boy on a bar stool, nothing. At least put him in some ads, put him on a poster for Barstool, so that way you could say you're paying him NIL for his name, image, and likeness. But he can't wear Michigan stuff. He can't have anything to do with the school. They're so blatant with it now, and it has been. They don't even try to hide it. Texas A&M, $100 million. They're talking about Lane Kiffin's going to have over $50 million invested in this team. $50 million tied up in this team. So, that's all I got today, guys. It's just a total mockery. Total mockery. Congratulations here. We could give a shout out to the Knicks and the Spurs going to be playing for a national championship here in NBA finals. And it's going to see here. Alabama girls softball is going to be kicking up here real good. And I'm trying to see there. Auburn is, I think they're playing. Are they playing today? So right now it looks like, let's see where we at. JSU and Little Rock. Little Rock's up. JSU's up, I'm sorry. That's one loss to Florida and Troy. North Carolina's moved on. Auburn will be, I think they're going to get Milwaukee. And then SEC champ Georgia. They've moved on here. And women's softball here. Tennessee. Texas and Nebraska play right now. Tennessee will play looks like the winner of those. And Alabama will play June the 1st. It's like they beat UCLA on a walk-off Thursday. Then they beat Nebraska. So it put UCLA down in the bottom bracket. They beat Arkansas. Now they've got to beat Texas Tech to get back in to play Alabama again. So looks like the winner of UCLA, Texas Tech playing Alabama will then decide who will go to the championship finals. Will be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of June as we wrap up the month of May. And June 1st will be tomorrow, Monday. So everybody getting paid tomorrow. Send your buddy hook a man up over here. Hook me up on Venmo over there at Big Matt 1977. 2 G's. Find me on Venmo at Big Matt 77. And everybody get paid tomorrow. Drop me a little 5 spot over there. Appreciate you. So that's what we're looking like there for the College World Series. Tennessee, Texas, Nebraska, Bama, UCLA, Texas Tech. One of those teams are going to take it home. Number 1 Texas plays number 1 Nebraska today, and then tonight here right now playing UCLA and Texas Tech play elimination game there on ESPN right now. Then tomorrow you'll have game 11, 12 through 14 from lunch till 9:30. Wednesday games, Thursday games, and all that stuff. So good luck to the Alabama girls in winning that. Them, Tennessee, Texas, got a lot of SEC teams in there in the bracket. So that's that, and that's all we got. So we love you guys. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me here on Locker Room Sports. Come back next week. Maybe next week, have some more news. Start off show with recruiting and that type of stuff. Podcast listeners, I'm going to have you loaded up today. I didn't get the last one. YouTube stuff wasn't working right. I couldn't record. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you're over on the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you're watching here on YouTube later tonight here, probably about 9 or 10 o'clock here on a Sunday. Hit me up on Venmo at BIGGMATT. Big B, Big M, 2 G's. I'm out.